Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Thrustmaster Virtual GP 2017 Championship. It's round number 3. It is Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. And my word, I am very excited to see the drivers race around this iconic track here this afternoon. My name's Matthew Gallagher, and joining me in the commentary box once again is Justin Sutton.
Thanks again for having me, Matt. Really looking forward to this one. Spa is always a favorite amongst the drivers and the fans alike, and I'm looking forward to see just the kind of racing that it produces.
As you can see, the championship very close between the top two. Spa-Francorchamps and Schmidl only separated by 1 point. Who will come out on top this time round for round 3? I'm sure it's going to be a close battle nevertheless, but let us get ready for that. First of all, though, a few things to mention. The first is that it wouldn't be a proper competition without some prizes. So the organisers of Thrustmaster Virtual GP have secured some top prizes for the best of the best. So the overall winner will get a very special chance to test drive a Formula Renault 2-litre car in a private test session thanks to Effective Racing. It's a very popular car amongst junior drivers. It has 210 brake horsepower and it weighs 510 kilograms, so it's pretty nippy. And it means it's also a proper racing beast, I am told. And it's helped Effective Racing to achieve a lot of its success and the overall win in the Carbonia Cup. But as you can see on your screens now, second place will get a chance to test their driving skills in a special test day in the Kart Birel ART KZ2 kart with 50 brake horsepower and racing tyres. Vega accelerates 0 to 100 kilometers, 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds. So the test will be organised by a professional racing team, Joker Racing, a very experienced and successful team, and drivers will get coaching by one of their top drivers. And finally, third place. Unfortunately, they did not win or get second, but third still gets a prize of a free set of tyres by Hankook Company that are very useful on the roads. They're no standard tyre. Hankook are very well known for being a tyre maker with their products available around the world. They are known for high-tech innovations and commitment for safety on the roads. And tyre abilities of their products are then tested by some of the best drivers in the world, as Hankook is known as a big supporter of racing and tyre supplier for many series. All of this would cost over £3,500, so this is a perfect opportunity for some of these guys to win some great prizes.
So we're going to take a look now at a lap of the Spa circuit, thanks to Karl Bashko in the BenQ car, who is taking over, worth pointing out, for Blazek, who was unfortunately involved in a car collision in real life, not on the circuit last time out at the Nürburgring, but we wish him a speedy recovery. He's doing just fine as far as we know, but still needs some recovery time. So going through the magnificent Eau Rouge complex and coming on to the Kemmel Straight in this lovely BenQ car. And this is, of course, going to be one of the many popular overtaking locations here at Spa as they break into Turn 7 at Lacombe from just about top speed, I imagine, really depending on the gearing and aerodynamics of the cars. But through the Lacombe section and at the highest point of the circuit before descending down the hill. Of course, Spa with lots of changes in elevation, which just another reason it's one of the best circuits in the world. Through that very long right-hander and into the corner with no name before continuing to descend down the hill towards the infamous Pouan, the double left-hander, carrying lots of speed through there. 6th gear, in fact, for the BenQ driver as he makes his way expertly through that series of corners into the right-left complex of 13 and 14 as we make our way out of Sector 2 and towards Sector 3 now. Pretty high-speed corners as well, though grabbing 4th gear at the exit of that corner. Into Stavelot, turn 15, before coming into Curve Paul Frere and the very long run down towards Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. Of course, the driver is going to be picking up lots of speed here, already over 300 kph for the BenQ driver as he makes his way to the very high-speed left-hander Blanchimont right here, which is going to be flat out, possibly a little lift there, I think I heard from him going through there, and into the bus stop chicane, the right and then left to finish up the lap. He does have a car in front of him, but it doesn't look like it's going to cause too much problem, and it looks like that is going to be a lap. This was, I believe, during practice for Mr. Bashko, for Karl Bashko, and that is a lap of Spa. So taking a look at the starting grid now for today's third round, it is the two winners on the front row, Schmidl and Stefanko, first and second, with the Imola race winner taking that pole position ahead of Stefanko. Both of those guys winning their races from pole position, so that could be very important. In third position, we've got Daniel Lischkak in the TP Link car, and then Jaroslav Hanzik in the Thrustmaster car, starting from the second row of the grid. Then Polesny in the Acer Predator car, Zubek once again in the Avast car in 5th and 6th positions, respectively. Then we've got Richard Schlad in the Effective Racing car, Frabish in the Lynx car in 8th position. Rounding out the top 10 is Dolazel and Sikora, and bringing up the rear is the new boy, Karl Bashko. He has raced actually in the series previously, but he's going to be bringing up the rear today here at Spa.
Here we go then. The drivers are on the grid and we are ready for this 22-lap race around Spa. The lights are all up and ready to go. And it's lights out and away we go for this Belgian Grand Prix. And how are they looking going towards turn 1? It looks like Schmidl has got the lead going into turn 1. Quite close there by Lischkak up the inside of Stefanko, it looked like. So Stefanko has lost a position from second, and that could be crucial for the fight for the win. And in fact, maybe coming under pressure from Polesny. I think he is indeed. Now they're going to be side by side going up Eau Rouge. But oh, that's a car in the wall as Polesny takes third position. Stefanko now coming back, it looks like, on the timing screens, and that is Dolazel, who has hit the wall hard, and that will be his race pretty much over. And that is a safety car out as well. Dolazel is out of this race already, and it looked like I'm not really sure, there must have been contact because the line he was taking, there's also another car around, and that's Stefanko in fact. So Stefanko from second place on the grid is now technically last of the remaining runners. So the man challenging Michael Schmidl in the championship so far is now finding himself in 10th position, and hopefully we're going to see a replay of that because that is going to be huge, and Schmidl could take a huge lead going into round 4.
Yeah, this is very big for the championship, very big for Michael Schmidl as well. I'm sure he's going to be fully aware of what's gone on. In fact, he may have heard his compatriot yelling, given that these guys are all racing in the same facility together. So he may have even heard some choice words from Stefanko as he made that mistake. Now, he has continued on. We're not sure what caused that spin at the Lacombe section. It looked like he spun right at the exit of turn 7, entrance of turn 8. And thankfully for him, at least, he's not going to lose a lot of time to Schmidl up at the front, but he does have a lot of cars in between him and the other contender in the championship, or at least so far. Of course, we're only on the third race of this season, so pretty much everybody is a contender if they start putting in good enough performances, but certainly Stefanko is not going to be happy about that. He still has 21 laps of racing. Some of that is going to be done under the safety car here. Of course, the safety car will be out on circuit now and going to be picking up the drivers pretty soon here, but yeah, that you got to imagine, Matt, that Stefanko is pretty upset about that one.
Oh, indeed, yeah. I mean, if there's a track that he'd probably want to spin at, Spa would probably be one of the ones he would choose, because there are a couple of pretty good overtaking opportunities which Stefanko will, I am sure, make the most of, and that is him coming to the pits actually. So there may well be a strategy change here for Stefanko. He's got absolutely no positions to lose here, and it didn't seem like he lost any sort of front wing or anything because he was just spinning around, but maybe he made some contact. But either way, going into the pits at the end of lap number 1, and Stefanko maybe trying something just to maybe go out a little bit longer in this first stint. Will be second stint for him because he's already come into the pits, but Stefanko, yeah, probably looking to try and go that extra mile on those next set of tyres so that he can get a bit of clean air, because he's not going to see much clean air, I don't think, in this stint. And Schmidl going to be very happy to see his competitor down at the bottom of the field. But the first time we've seen the safety car this season, and we are actually watching Dolazel, who is not actually out of this race, I'm mistaken. So Dolazel did not completely wreck his car and is in fact trying to catch up to the back of this field, and the safety car going pretty damn slowly, it looks like. So the tyre temperatures are going to be leaving the drivers and getting very cold, and you can see Schmidl and the rest of the drivers all weaving about trying to get some heat into those tyres. I'm not sure how long the safety car will stay out for, and in fact I'm not sure how it is controlled, but Dolazel obviously still going now, so there's no debris to be picked up, as far as I'm aware. Anyway, we haven't seen any action on the track in terms of marshals or anything. I don't think that is supported, but either way, so Stefanko isn't last, and he is scoring a singular point at the moment, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see some overtaking in this race, Justin.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, we're going to essentially see a second race start here, and it'll be the second time in a handful of laps as well. So these guys are going to be ready to go racing, especially because they barely got to do any racing before that safety car came out. But as you mentioned, Dolezal surprisingly still in this race, and all of these guys, important to note, are on the hard compound tires. So you were talking about getting temperature into the tires, Matt, and I think all of these guys are going to be struggling, as you can see from the interface on the left-hand side, indicating that all of the drivers are on the hards right now, the hardest compound tire that is available to them. It is the softs and super softs and hards that are available, in fact, this weekend, no mediums, so it should be a one-stop for most of the drivers. Would be interesting to see if Stefanko can actually make it to the end on that set of hards. With the safety car coming out, certainly that's going to add to the tire longevity of these guys, assuming you're not locking up your front right heading into a downhill right-hander like Dolezal was there. But of course, he's the only car on the circuit that is actually pushing at the moment, and it looks like possibly this is going to be the last lap under the safety car. The Avast Audi R8, I believe that's an R8. I'm not up to date on my supercars, but oh, Sakura in the T-Mobile car into the pits as well. So it looks like he's going to go for something a little bit different as far as strategy is concerned, and it's pretty amazing, Matt, how these cars can make an Audi R8 seem slow. Yeah,
definitely. But then again, these are the pinnacle of motorsport machinery, these cars, and we are currently watching again Dolezal, I believe that is, trying to catch up to the back of this pack, but I think he's going to do that pretty easily by the end of this lap, as we are currently on lap number 3 of 22, and obviously a very slow start for us and the viewers at home. That is an Audi R8 as well, so you were right, Justin, and yeah, so it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting one. I think the only chance for Schmidl to not win this race is basically the restart, because Lischkak, well, he's going to be right on the gearbox of Schmidl, trying to make something happen and take the lead of this race, because I think that's going to be the only opportunity for these drivers to interfere with Michael Schmidl's, you have to say, dominant pace compared to the majority of these drivers. The one competitor he has is down in 9th position at the moment. And a quick shout out for Karl Bashko, who's currently running in 8th position. Coming into this race, he said he wasn't feeling too good, and his target was to beat Sakura and get at least 1 point. Currently he's on for 4, so I'm sure he'll be quite happy, but we've got 19 laps to go, and quite a lot of racing going on at the moment. As the safety car is currently out, I also have to mention quickly to not forget to vote for the driver of the day. Obviously not right now, it's only lap 3, but you can do on our website, as well as there's a competition for a luxury Swiss watch thanks to Certina, which is also on the website, which you'll see down the bottom with that moving banner. So far, McLaren, Honda, Resadeza and Mavic are leading the table. First time McLaren Honda's been leading anything for quite some time, and it's still wide open, so you can still enter and have a great chance to win, so make sure you get involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly wouldn't see a reason not to. But yeah, it does look like Michael Schmidl here is backing up the pack as the safety car is preparing to come in at the end of lap 3, and we are preparing to go racing. And it does look like Dolezal has just caught up to the back of this pack. So, Matt, we're going to see 11 cars going racing once again here in a moment.
Here we go then. Ready for Schmidl to put some serious pressure on that accelerator pedal, and we are waiting to see another angle right now, because there we go. Schmidl has not gone yet, and in fact is crawling all the way up to the bus stop chicane. I'm not sure if that is the wisest of decisions, but either way, he has taken it very slowly indeed, and we are about to get under racing once again, as we're about to finish lap number 3. Schmidl leading the pack away, and he has actually kind of bridged the gap to Lischkak going in towards turn 1. I think the person we want to be watching is Stefanko going into turn 1, see if he can make anything happen. Honzik is currently battling one. I'm not sure if that was Zubek or Polesny. It was Polesny. So Polesny, in fact, and Honzik getting very close indeed, coming up towards Eau Rouge. Let's hope they don't make any contact, as they nearly did in lap 1. And we are back under racing now. Can Lischkak get in the slipstream? In fact, no. Honzik is getting in the slipstream and out of it, past Polesny, going down the straight. Schmidl going extremely defensive down towards this next right-hander, and that's Polesny trying to come back at Honzik. But no, Honzik up into 4th position. Nice move from him. Stefanko has not made any positions up just yet. If he wants to have any chance of getting anywhere near Schmidl's gearbox, he needs to start making some moves pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he's following pretty closely behind Bashko at the moment, and it seems that a bit of a gap is starting to form between Frabish and Bashko, so that move from Stefanko could be imminent as they're running very wide, using all of the circuit and then some through corner with no name there, down the hill through Puan as well. Of course, that's one of the areas of the circuit where the cars are really going to be feeling that dirty air, and it looks like Chlad actually starting to drop away from Lishkak. Lishkak still keeping with Schmidl pretty well, though, as we get through the final couple of corners before coming onto that long straight on the run down towards Blanchimont. On board with the round 2 race winner, Martin Stefanko, as he is possibly sizing up Bashko here for an overtake. He's getting a heck of a slipstream here, getting very, very close to the gearbox of that BenQ car. He's going to move to the right-hand side, going to have to go around the outside of Blanchimont, side-by-side through a very high-speed left-hand corner, and Stefanko picking his line very well there, I think. Oh, and that is very deep. Is that Hanzik? Yeah, it is Hanzik losing a position to Chlad. Oh, I think he was actually on the attack there. I think he was trying to go around the outside of Chlad at that bus stop chicane. Didn't quite work out for him. He lost lots of time. Here comes Polesny, and this battle between... Oh, no! Oh, and Zubek with a little bit of contact there with Polesny as well. Looks like Polesny is going to stay ahead of Zubek, but it looks like some more action going on as well in the background there. Yeah, Zubek trying to go side by side as they make the climb now up Eau Rouge, and he's going to get a heck of a slipstream here on the run down the Kemmel Straight towards Lacombe, but it looks pretty comfortable for Schmidl at the moment here, Matt.
Oh, it's going to get very close again. Braking hard for this right-hander, and Polesny just about managing to stay ahead of Zubek, but cuts the corner, and that's going to allow Frabish to get involved and go round the outside of the pair of them. Can he make that one stick? No, he's pushed onto the gravel. Frabish not being able to make that move stick. In fact, might lose a position after all that, as Stefanko gets involved with the battle now. We've almost got a four-way battle here for 5th place. I think it is. No, 6th place, but either way, no, it's 5th place. But either, I'm getting confused because there's so many cars. But Stefanko did not manage to get through on Frabish after... Well, that would have been move of the season so far if Frabish had managed to go around the outside of the pair of them battling, but lovely pieces of action up and down the field currently, and it was something we expected coming into the Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa, and it has not let us down after the safety cars come back in, and it's pretty much single file as we then start to head and get our thoughts towards the Kemmel Straight and towards... Is Kemmel Straight, is that right? Is that right, Justin? Is it Kemmel Straight?
No, that's the run towards Blanchimont.
Yeah, that's the one. Sorry, Kemmel Straight is the first sector, isn't it? Yeah, so Blanchimont coming through here on this left-hander, and that looks like it's going to be pretty close between Zubek and Frabish. Oh no, that's Stefanko, sorry, going around the outside of Frabish. Now got the inside line into the second part of the bus stop. Oh no, Stefanko's round again! Oh my god, his race is going from bad to worse. And Stefanko, I'm not sure what... It looks like he got clipped on the rear there by, who was that? Frabish. And Stefanko, well, it looked like he had the move done, Justin, and then all of a sudden he was round.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to get 2 positions over the course of that one lap, and then once, as you mentioned, once again going around, and here we go, Frabish and Sakura now going to go side by side up Eau Rouge. Looks like Frabish with the outside line is going to do a little bit better there. Oh gosh, and now just getting swarmed on both sides is Sakura as they head down the Kemmel Straight. Sakura just doing a fantastic job, actually, of managing to not hit either of those cars that was trying to go alongside of him there, and in fact, it looks like he's going to defend the position from both of those guys. It looked like he was going to lose 2 positions down that Kemmel Straight, but possibly with a lower downforce package. I'm not sure. He just really started to pull away from those guys as they were 3 wide going down the Kemmel Straight. I mean, that's the second time we've seen some 3 wide action already in this race. We're not even 6 laps into it. And yeah, very, very close racing and very respectful. It's unfortunate, though, what happened to Stefanko. He's not out of this yet. I wouldn't count him out, certainly, of the points as he makes his way through Puan. But it is going to be a heck of a... it's going to be a bear for him to try and get back up to the lead. You can see already over a 2-second gap between Schmidl and Lishkap.
I think Schmidl is home and dry, unfortunately, unless he comes into any sort of issues or makes any mistakes, which we have not seen at all yet, even though he didn't win the second race, as that's going to get close once again, and that's going to be side-by-side into the bus stop chicane. No contact just about. He's pushing him round the final corner, and that is going to be pretty close into turn 1 as well. Chlad and Honzik going at it, hammer and tong into turn 1 here, and Chlad managing to defend. However, he's got a very long straight to also defend, and some KERS usage as well from, well, the pair of them it's going to be, but Honzik is going to be using it on the attack with the slipstream as well. Coming up, Eau Rouge. Looked like it was flat. It sounded like maybe he lifted off, but I think that was just the way he was bouncing up Eau Rouge. And he's going to go side by side and past Schlad and go into a podium position. And Honzik now going defensive because Schlad comes back into the slipstream. And that was close into that right-hander from Schlad. Very late on the brakes there, but Honzik through and up into a podium position now. And his next target is Daniel Lischkak, who's having a great race up in second position at the moment. And, well, we are seeing probably the most amount of battling, Justin, we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, we're maybe not even a third of the way through this race, and lots of side-by-side actions. I mean, we had a three-way battle going through turn 9, which is not something that you see every day. And speaking of battling, Stefanko already up ahead of Dolazel, already into the points now, looking to relegate Bashko down into 10th position, and he's not far behind either. And of course, as we mentioned at the previous race at the Nürburgring, KERS is available to these drivers, so that's, I think, helping with the battling, and I think that may have even what allowed Jan Sikora to defend that position as they got to the top of Eau Rouge and came onto that Camel Straight. I think that's what we saw was a full draining of the KERS for that T-Mobile driver, but now we're focusing a little bit further up the grid, looking at Zubek at the moment. He's got a pretty healthy gap to Frabish up behind. I think he's more concerned about Polesny up ahead rather than the car behind, and you can see the focus on these guys as they make their way around this fantastic Belgian circuit and begin lap number 8 now. And it's looking pretty comfortable for the top 6 as, again, there's that gap starting to form between 6th and 7th. Frabish starting to drop away a little bit with Sikora not too far behind. Really can't start to breathe easy just yet as they make their way up Eau Rouge for the 8th time in this race. And Stefanko again in 10th position, but looking to overtake Bashko for the 2nd time in this race. This will be the 2nd time he's now made this overtake on the BenQ car. Here we go, setting him up down the very long Camel Straight and possibly seeing some KERS deployment from Bashko there as even with the slipstream, Stefanko not able to get alongside. Bashko goes deep though, a bit of a lockup from the BenQ driver into turn number 7 as they make their way through Les Combes. Much better exit for Stefanko, a bit of dirty air though. I think the back end trying to step out, and now they start to descend the hill once again. And I mean, Stefanko, I mean, he's a mature driver. He's been doing this for a long time. He's raced in a lot of series. You know, he's a very smart guy. He's going to be calm and collected about all of this. But at the same time, he really needs to get by Matt. I mean, there's only 14 laps remaining of this very long circuit after this lap is completed. So Stefanko, as responsible and experienced as he is, he's also in a hurry.
Oh, most definitely. And I think Stefanko, this really could be the turning point in his championship season, where if it does continue with the trend we saw in the first 2 races, Stefanko, this could be his title-losing race right now if he doesn't start to get his act together and go towards the podium as he goes past Bashko with the use of slipstream and maybe a little bit of KERS as well. Into the bus stop chicane we go, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see... Oh my days! That was close, but Stefanko tried to make another move into the bus stop chicane there. Oh, actually, no, that was Bashko coming back at him, was it? Yeah, oh my God! Yeah. Sorry, I thought Bashko was all said and done, but no, Bashko comes back up the inside. Says, I know I might be new to this series for this season, but Stefanko, you get back behind me, son. So Martin's going to have to work even harder than he maybe expected as he now comes flying up Eau Rouge once again. And Bashko, this time, should well be a sitting duck because of the amount of speed difference we have between the two after Stefanko eating up that slipstream. But no, he comes back again. Ooh. Bashko is absolutely feisty and ready to fight. And I love to see it. It's only for like 9th place, but still, Bashko wants every point he can possibly get. And Stefanko being made to work, which is great to see from these guys that maybe aren't expected to be as high as Stefanko is. But as I was saying, I think, you know, if Martin doesn't end up being in the top 4, he's probably going to be thinking, have I just lost this championship? Because I know that it's quite a long season and anything can happen. But if Schmidl starts locking out front rows and only has Stefanko to worry about in terms of going into turn 1, then there's not really much going to be, you know, it's going to be like a Mercedes Formula 1 season where they're probably going to finish 1st or 2nd. So it kind of also reiterates the point that qualifying is very important, especially when it's such a short run down to turn 1, where you can have 3rd, 4th, even 5th position diving up your inside and causing issues.
Yeah, without question. Qualifying is going to be very important for all of these guys, and certainly they're going to be trying their best to lock out the front, or get onto the front row, get the early lead of the race. Because as we've seen with the two previous races at Imola and the Nürburgring, the guy that started on pole won. And so far right now, the pole sitter is 3 seconds ahead of the next driver. And it's looking like they're going to be, Schmidl might in fact win this race, bar any sort of major mess-ups, major mistakes. But as you've said, Matt, that's not something we've seen from this man here in the Big Shock car, the very yellow car making its way down the Kemmel Straight and towards the braking zone for the Lacombe section. It's just looking so calm and in control for Michael Schmidl. He really just seems to be where he wants to be. And in fact, he may even be holding off at this point. Lischkak really hasn't been one of the drivers that's pressuring Schmidl. And in fact, after only 2 races completed so far in this season, really the only drivers that have been pressuring Schmidl and Stefanko have been Schmidl and Stefanko. So I don't know. Schmidl may even be taking it easy out there, potentially just looking after his tires. We are predicting a one-stop race, certainly, but taking a look at the other side of that championship leader coin, Martin Stefanko now starting to size up Jan Sikora as they make their way through the corner with no name and down the hill towards Pouan. Not really an overtaking location at Pouan, just because it is such a fast corner and it is so hard to get alongside the straight just before Pouan. Really not that long either. Stefanko pushing very hard, obviously using all of the curbing at the exit of that corner, and Dolazel now onto the back of Bashko, who, as you mentioned, Matt, new to the series for this season. Certainly not new to the series in general, though. He's got 23 starts, 3 podium finishes, 12 top 5 finishes, and 211 points to his name. He may be out of practice, but Bashko is certainly not lacking in talent.
Yeah, for sure. He's had some good results, as you've just mentioned, and maybe he's a little bit rusty at the moment, perhaps hasn't been racing as much, and that's why he's a little bit further down the field. And that's Stefanko. Oh, dearie me, he's been off again. I think that was a tag from Bashko. It looked like it was anyway. It didn't look like Stefanko lost control of the car, and it is just well, you know, there are races, you know, where people say that this is where champions are tested, and to see, you know, when how they deal with a really tricky situation. And right now Stefanko is not dealing with it very well at all. And you would have probably imagined halfway through this race, Justin, that he was down in 10th and he's only made 1 position up since the start of this race. And that's just not good enough, is it?
No, and it looks like he actually might get relegated down to 10th here, as Bashko, with that incredible slipstream down the very long Kemmel Straight, possibly a bit of curves as well, is going to go around the outside, but it is going to go very deep into the corner. So even if he comes out on circuit ahead of Stefanko, I think he would have needed to give that position back. Oh, rejoining the circuit possibly a bit dangerously there. I'd have to see a replay of it to give a final word on that, but just certainly hindering Thomas Dolazel, who I think was a little bit surprised to see that Ben Q car coming back onto the racing line at turn number 9 there. Maybe freaking him out a little bit there. But Zubek, as I mentioned before, with a pretty decent-sized gap to Frabish behind, doesn't really need to worry too much about the Lynx car that's behind him. More concerned, rather, about Polesny up ahead and what he can do with him. The gap does not seem very large for the Acer Predator car up ahead of him. I mean, he's going to be in that slipstream on the run down towards Blanchimont, closing in all the while, certainly because Polesny really not getting much of a slipstream off of Chlad here, and possibly with some good KERS usage as well. We could see the rookie. I feel the need to mention that once again, Zubek is a rookie to this series this season. We might see Zubek making an overtake attempt possibly at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Turning our attention towards the front, Lischkak looks like he is in a pretty comfortable position, a few seconds away from Schmidl, but a few seconds ahead of Hanzik as well. So it looks like pretty decent-sized gaps for the top 3 drivers, and indeed the top 4, in fact, although Chlad not that far ahead of Polesny. Turning our focus back towards the rear, the final points-paying position here, Dolazel trying to size up Bashko. He's pretty far behind on the run towards Eau Rouge, through the corner and not gaining massively on the Ben Q kart. Let's see if he's going to deploy some KERS, and yeah, he's going to be way too far back to do anything on this occasion, Matt.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's kind of just spreading out a little bit, as you mentioned, with the gaps for first all the way down to sort of 5th place. Zubek looking like the one that could give us some action behind Polesny, and also Stefanko, of course, just trying to make something happen. And if he can get past Sikora, then he's got a little bit of a gap to catch up to Frabish. And he's probably sick of the sight of these guys that he's seen pretty much all race so far, and keeps passing them, losing the car, passing them, losing the car again. And he must be a very frustrated man right now in that room, and it must be also very strange being in a room with people you're making contact with. And I'm not sure how I would cope with that, but I'd sure say a few choice words if I was being taken out or there was contact being made. I'm not really saying whose fault it was. It did seem like for all of them, to be fair, that they were racing incidents. And Stefanko now in the slipstream. Is he going to go round the outside of Blanchimont? No, is he? He's kind of thinking about it, then just letting off the throttle, but coming towards the bus stop chicane. Will he try and make a move now? He's on the racing line. That's Sakura going very, very defensive and managing to hit that apex pretty nicely. We've got the first of the stops now from Richard Schlad, who's going to potentially, well, I would assume, go on to some soft tyres, but I'm not sure how long they're going to go in this race, as Stefanko still trying to eye up Sakura now for 7th place after Schlad pitting. And I'm pretty sure Stefanko is going to have him pretty much in his back pocket as he comes up Eau Rouge. Let's have a look and see, as flat out through Eau Rouge, even in the dirty air, comes that we've already seen Stefanko do this many times already, and he's going to fly past Sakura. And it'll be interesting to see how quickly he can catch Frabish. He goes defensive just to make sure we don't see another Karl Bashko. And I'm sure he's pretty annoyed seeing Bashko come back at him, because, you know, it must be quite frustrating for Stefanko knowing that he's quite a lot quicker than these guys and then them fighting back. But they have an absolute right to do that, and it's good for us to watch as well.
Yeah, and some people are not very good at qualifying. You know, I'm not a very successful sim racer, but certainly I'm a lot better on a full tank of fuel than I am in a qualifying scenario. So it could be the same sort of thing for Bashko, for any of the other drivers. You know, everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, and it does seem that Stefanko now up into 7th position, though. As we're past the halfway point of this race, though, so he's got a lot of work still to do and not that much time to do it in. But yeah, everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses. Oh, and Dolazel now off the track. It looks like that's not going to lose him any positions, but he is more or less than a pit stop ahead of Richard Schlad, so certainly he is going to come out in P11 when he does come into the pits. Worth pointing out that Schlad did go on to another set of the hard compound tires, which I kind of suspected he might, coming in at the end of lap number 12. So he's done 12 laps on the first set of hards, and he's going to do a 10-lap stint on this next set of hards. Somebody that's still out on their first set of hard is Daniel Lischkak, and Frabish, though, in the Lynx car is going to make that change onto another set of tires here. I don't know if he's going to change compound at the end of lap 13. He's got 9 laps still remaining, so I guess I wouldn't be too surprised to see him fit another set of the hard compound tires as well. But here we go with Zubek on Polesny. Again, Matt mentioned this earlier. This is really the one to watch. These are the guys that seem to be closest on circuit. Zubek not able to make anything happen into the braking zone for Lecombe, but he is following pretty closely. Frabish is going to come out in last position, but again, Dolazel, Bashko, Sakura, all of those guys still yet to pit, as is Stefanko as well. We could see him possibly make up positions in the pit stop phases, Matt.
Oh, for sure. He's got now 7 seconds of clean air to just push and be able to put in some very quick times, I'm sure, matching or probably going quicker than Michael Schmidl, who is not actually as far ahead of Lischkak as I would have expected. And, right. Oh, that is Dolazel again going off the track. Yeah. And, well, that is pretty much him securing his 11th place here this afternoon. He's not had a very good race at all after that incident at the start of the race, pretty much putting him out of contention until the safety car came out. And then it's just been mistakes, unfortunately, from here on in. So Dolazel, a day to forget for him. However, going back to Schmidl and Lischkak, you know, 3.6, 3.7 seconds behind. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy only being that far behind Schmidl over such a long lap like Spa, where yeah, it's pretty hard to hook up and nail a decent lap. So my instincts are telling me that Schmidl's taken it easy, but at the same time, Lischkak will, as I say, be very happy in 2nd place, comfortably ahead of Honzik, and then Polesny all the way down in 4th, over 10 seconds behind Honzik. So where can Stefanko end up in this race? It's going to be very, very intriguing to see this, as we have a couple of cars in the pits of Sakura and Bashko. I don't think it's going to be a race because Sakura stopped quite a lot earlier than Bashko did, and there we go. Out the pits we come, and they're both on the hard tyres as well. So none of these guys going for the extreme hard to soft strategy. It's quite interesting to see them come in so late, if I'm honest. You know, it's lap 15 of 22. There's only 7 or so laps to go, and they're going on to another set of hards. Surely it would make more sense to do what... who was it that came in on lap 12 and then pit? Was it Zubek?
I think it was, yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah, so, either way, you know, the 12 and then 10 makes a lot more sense than eking out to 15 and then only doing 7 or 8. So, that's just my opinion. Obviously, these guys do a lot more practice and play this a lot more. I've never played it at all, so who knows? But there's differing strategies going on.
And it does seem that Dolezal is going to go for a point, although it is not going to be at the expense of Karl Bashko, as Dolezal has fitted the super soft compound tire now. Could be going for a fastest lap and attempting to pick up an extra point that way. Zubek, meanwhile, is going to try and get points the old-fashioned way by trying to get past Polesny here, as we come to the end of what is lap 15 for these guys. And it looks like Zubek is going to come into the pits. Polesny is going to continue on. It'll be interesting to see what compound of tires Zubek fits, but certainly going 16 laps on a set of hard compound tires, you have to imagine that Schmidl is going to be considering super soft or soft compound tires for his pit stop potentially. That gap to Lishkak, as you mentioned, Matt, not quite as big as we possibly would have expected. And again, that leads me to believe that he may just be trying to stretch that hard compound tire out. Zubek does come out on the softs, actually. He is going to come out behind Chlad, but it looks like there is some battling going on for that 6th place position at the moment. We join that battle now. Again, on board with Zubek on the soft compound tires, not the super softs, but the softs. But that is still 2 steps softer than Chlad's hards up ahead. So let's see what he can do in the Avaskar. He's got the slipstream, probably using a bit of curves. Got the inside line on the run down towards Lecombe as well. He's going to defend that inside line as well and try and get the move done. And yes, with a little bit of running wide from Chlad, Zubek is going to reclaim 6th place, and with Stefanko still to pit, although Stefanko pitted very early in the race, Matt, as you might remember, pitted, I think, at the end of lap 1, putting on a set of the hards, so maybe he's actually not going to pit at all, which would be pretty impressive if he's going to just hold on and stay in that 5th place position. He's about 5-6 seconds away from that battle between Polesny and Hanzik, and he's got a pretty big gap, about 12 seconds or so, back to Zubek. Daniel Lishkak now from 2nd position into the pits. We'll keep an eye on what tire compound he's going to go on, and it looks like Hanzik is going to continue on for another lap. So interesting to see the different strategies. We didn't see very many different strategies in the previous races, Matt, so it's nice to see in this one we're seeing a bit more variety.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and very good point about Stefanko, who may well find himself in a podium position. And he is. So with 5... Oh, no, he's not actually. No. So it looks like this cat is just about going to get ahead of Stefanko. But we know how quick Stefanko is. I don't think he's going to be quick enough to catch Lishkak, who is on 2 steps softer tyres, as you mentioned. There's no mediums to go on to. And Stefanko looks like he's just going to eke this out, you know. And I think he might well do this with the pace he has in just as a driver. It's going to test him quite significantly, but Zubek's like 13 seconds behind Stefanko, so as long as his tyres don't explode, Stefanko could have done an absolute masterclass of strategy here with that early pit stop. But as I say, it is a complete guess for me and for also you, Justin, as there's a battle between Chlad and Zubek here. Oh no, it's Polesny, sorry, Polesny and Chlad, and it's a mystery for both of us to know exactly how far these hards will go. And Stefanko may well have pulled off if he finishes in 4th place after the amount of times he's been spinning, then my days, I'm sure he will happily take that one and will definitely be a little bit more confident going into the rest of these races, knowing that he hasn't thrown away as many points as he possibly could have. But if he hadn't had those spins, he definitely would be sat in 3rd position, and when Hanzik comes in, perhaps even 2nd. So what could have been for Stefanko, I suppose, as Hanzik comes into the pits now? I think he might come out behind Stefanko here, you know, because Stefanko's 2 seconds losing time to Lishkak all the time, but these guys are only coming into the pits now. Hanzik may well have to pass Stefanko for the final podium position.
I imagine he's going to be doing that on a set of super softs, because this is now the end of lap 17. There's just 5 laps remaining in this race, and the cars are very, very light with fuel. Let's see if Lischkak is going to... Oh, softs for Schmidl, so he's a bit conservative. Lischkak as well on the softs. Honzik as well going for a set of the softs. So it looks like a lot of these guys, no surprise at the end of the race, going onto the soft compound tires. Honzik is going to come out behind Stefanko, but not that far behind Stefanko, and with fresher and softer tires. Let's see, we've got Bashko trying to make a move on Sakura for P9. Bashko in the BenQ car trying to double his points tally for this race, if he can possibly manage that on the T-Bubble car of Jan Sakura, who is going very defensive into Les Sources as they start lap number 18 now. Bashko going to try and do it around the outside, but no, that's not quite working for him. He's going to head down towards Eau Rouge in 10th position, but he's going to be very, very close. He's going to pick up a hell of a slipstream here, and could potentially use some curves as well to get past the T-Mobile car. Much faster closing speed. Seems to be carrying a lot of speed onto this Kemmel straight. We can't quite see, but I believe he's just about ahead of the T-Mobile car. He's not going to move to the inside line. I think, yeah, Sakura's still to his inside, but shoots around the outside, gets the inside line for turn 8, and that is P9 now for Carl Bashko. And hey, Matt, that was his goal right there, was to beat Sakura. So with 4 laps still remaining in this race, though, he has done it. We'll see if he can hold on to that P9.
Good work from Carl Bashko, and we've also got a fight between Schlad and Polesny for P6, which I saw as you were talking through the sector, like the split times, as you can see there, 0.4 seconds. So I knew something was going on for 6th place, and here we are riding on board with Polesny. Schlad going very wide indeed. Thankfully, there's enough runoff there before he hits the gravel, but I don't think he had the greatest of exits coming down this straight now towards Blanchimont, and oh my days, look at the closing speed from Polesny. He's going to go up the inside and make the move stick before he's even got to the bus stop chicane. However, Schlad might have a go into the bus stop chicane. Let's have a look and see. Oh, there's contact, big contact. Schlad and Polesny, both of them pretty much out of the contention there, as that is Frabish. He's going to say thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. I will take 6th place as you two collide, and that is completely and utterly Richard Schlad's fault in my opinion, and we may see a penalty for Richard Schlad, who is going to potentially drop him out of the points altogether. Honzik and Stefanko, there you go. Honzik now trying to get that 3rd place back from Stefanko, and he does indeed on those soft tyres. It was pretty much going to happen. We all saw it coming. I was hoping maybe Stefanko would be able to potentially defend a little bit more, but you can see he's already lost a second. Those tyres are absolutely destroyed. Can Zubek catch Stefanko by the end of this race? The drop-off could be pretty significant come the last lap, so let's watch the split times for that. I think Zubek could catch him here, Justin, and maybe even bring Frabish is on the hards. I don't think so, so just Zubek.
Yeah, Zubek, of course, with a race to forget last time out at the Nürburgring, had a rough day of it, not scoring any points, so he is going to be a man on a mission. And Dolazel, I believe, this is going to be him coming into the pits for another set of the Super Softs, again at an attempt to set fastest lap. He was about 5 seconds slower than Bashko on that previous lap, but of course he also was coming into the pits, so that's not really any sort of indication. But Sakura and Bashko, the battle continues to rage on. Just 3 laps remaining once they cross the line to finish this lap, and still running very, very close to one another. Less than half a second between the T-Mobile and BenQ cars as they make their way out of Sector 2 into Sector 3 now. And we could see another battle. I hope you're keeping an eye on those split times, Matt, because I am very focused on this battle for 9th position. Sakura would love to pick up this 9th place position. He has actually only picked up 2 points so far, finishing in 10th position at both Imola and at the Nürburgring for rounds 1 and 2. So you can't say that Sakura isn't consistent, but certainly he would like to double his points tally here by holding on to that 9th place position if he possibly can here, Matt.
Yeah, for sure. I wish this fight was for the lead, but unfortunately this is for 9th place, but still nice to see these guys battle and have a bit of fun out there. As for the gap between Zubek and Stefanko, it's coming down, but it varies so much over the course of the lap. I don't think Stefanko's going to come under pressure from Zubek, you know, after all is said and done after these 22 laps. Schmidl is just on a Sunday drive, it looks like. I think he may well maybe take away. I'm not sure what the difference is between the super softs and the softs in terms of time difference, but I think Dolazel's hopes and dreams may well be crushed by Schmidl going onto those soft tyres at the end of this race, because Schmidl very much would love to take another point and sort of rub the salt into the wounds of Martin Stefanko after a very disappointing race. And actually, what's happened there? Frabish and Zubek have changed positions. What has happened there? Has Zubek made a mistake somewhere? We haven't seen it on track so far.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, but Zubek's now down to 6th position and losing time. And Chlad is about to overtake him as well. Zubek is dropping down the field. What has gone on here? Can we see, please? And I think... what has happened here? Has he... I can't see any visible damage. It's not a puncture, but Zubek is losing positions hands over fist at the moment.
Was he the first one that came in for soft? Says, yeah, he's going to lose this around the outside at Blanchimont. That's one of those corners where you actually want to be at the outside rather than at the inside, because you can just carry so much more speed. He's going to go very deep as well.
Yeah, he's hit the cliff. I think he's hit the cliff.
Yeah, I have to imagine. I mean, you could see as he tries to get on the throttle coming out of the bus stop chicane here, you could just see the car squirming. So clearly he is struggling with something, and I think it is safe to assume that it is in fact tires that he's struggling with. And actually, he could potentially, as they start the penultimate lap of this race, he could even lose positions to Sikora and Bashko, because those guys are on the hards.
Oh, 100%. I think Zubek is going to find himself in 10th position come the end of this race. So it was pretty aggressive stopping when he did to go onto the soft tyres. As we saw, everyone else came in a lot later for those soft tyres, 2, 3, 4 laps later. So Zubek trying to make those positions up, which... oh, dearie me, that's someone in the wall. That's Polesny.
Polesny,
who's made
down to
a
8th now.
Huge mistake. So Polesny... I don't know how he's lost the car there, but he may have ridden the curb a little bit too hard. But Zubek, who's pretty much crawling round at the moment, has seen Polesny spear off into the wall and said, thank you very much. That's another point I would probably going to lose had you not done that. So, yeah, you can see in the background there as well, Polesny has got back on the track, but I'm assuming he's going to have some serious damage to that car if there's anything. Like, he went into it rear wing first, I think, as the last lap has been started by Michael Schmidl, and the fight is very much on for 8th position, and Polesny holding on just at the moment. But if Zubek's tyre wear is anything to go by, he's going to be absorbed by this pack unless Polesny manages to hold them up for an entire lap. But Karl Bashko now is behind Sikora again, and Sikora looks like he is actually lining up a move on Polesny, going through Blanchimont now. And is it going to be Sikora or Polesny going into the bus stop chicane? I'm going to put my money on Sikora as he goes. It's got the inside. No, he goes to the racing line, takes a wider line in, trying to get the best exit possible out of this final corner. Maybe into turn 1, but at the same time, is he not going to save the overtake for down the straight where he's going to use the slipstream? Because he could come under pressure from 2 cars if he's not careful. Again, very wide line into turn 1, and that's Bashko having a little look and actually making contact with Sikora through turn 1, and that's compromised his exit and given Polesny a bit more breathing space going up Eau Rouge now, and he may well not lose that position. It's going to be very interesting into the bus stop chicane for this final lap, Justin.
Yeah, I think Bashko, or Polesny actually owes Bashko a drink after this race, I think, for that one. But here's a man that we actually haven't been seeing too much of in this race. Unfortunately, we didn't have a Martin Stefanko that was following him around. I mean, Lishkak was never too far behind. You know, even a small spin from Schmidl, and we could have very easily seen a change of position for the lead of this race, Matt. But as it stands, it does look like Michael Schmidl is going to come through the bus stop chicane and pick up his 2nd win in 3 races.
Yeah, fantastic, faultless, brilliant drive from Michael Schmidl, and he, as you can see, very happy indeed coming over the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely uncontested. Lishkak, great result for him in 2nd place. Honzik comes over the line as well to finalise the podium for this Belgian Grand Prix. And then we have to wait a little while for one of the men that's had probably the most eventful Belgian Grand Prix in a while, and Stefanko comes over the line to finish in 4th position. Frabish is going to come home in 5th, and this is still the battle raging on for 8th position. And Sikora, will he have a go into the bus stop chicane? I reckon he will, you know, and there's a little bit of jumpiness going on at the moment, which is not useful, not really good for us. But can we see into the bus stop chicane? Did Sikora? No, he did not manage it. So Polesny, despite battering the wall a couple of laps ago, is still going to finish in 8th position. And what a race that was. Fantastic to see racing up and down the field. Unfortunately, not for the lead. But there you go. As I predicted, Michael Schmidl gets fastest lap as well and just crushes Dolezal's hopes and dreams, even though he had 2 stints on the super softs. So Schmidl takes the win from Lischkak and Honzik. Stefanko finishing in 4th somehow. And, well, you saw the rest of those guys battling for the final points-paying positions. The championship now, 13 points separate Schmidl and Stefanko. Is that going to be a bridge too far for Stefanko, Justin?
I don't think so. We've still got a lot of races left to go, and Stefanko is a hard competitor. He's going to be pushing to the absolute limit.
And he wasn't pushed to the limit at all for this Belgian Grand Prix, and he looks pretty like, just turned up. But thank you very much for watching Thrustmaster Virtual GP 2017 for round 3. I'm Matthew Gallagher. Justin Sutton has been alongside me, and I'll see you next time.